This way a little bit. Thank you. That works. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Session Sports Minute, where we talk sports and things of all sorts. My name is Marcus Session, your host, with my man Mickey Murray and my man Eugene McIntyre. Eugene is a trainer of NBA players, so I thought it'd be good to have him in as we talk about some topics in the sports world. So we're just gonna get right to it. Draymond. I know you've been wanting to comment about this for a minute. What you think about Draymond? Tristan Thompson, Draymond Green got into a fight at a club. Supposedly, right? Supposedly, Draymond went to apologize, which I don't see that happening. I don't know.
I do, because it sounds like Draymond.
It sounds like Draymond.
Yeah, it sounds like. I always thought Draymond was a punk. I'm just real talk, and this is why. If you notice, when they up, when Golden State is up and when they winning, and he's playing fairly decent, he's flexing, he's always in somebody's face. But watch him when a higher caliber athlete such as a LeBron James, when he got into it with him, it just seemed like he didn't really want that action. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if you're going to be an enforcer, be an enforcer. You know what I'm saying? And then clearly, if y'all watched the finals last year, him and Tristan had some words. And then afterwards, after they lost, Tristan lost. Tristan was man enough to come up to him and try to shake his hand, and that's good sportsmanship. We all done played, we done coached. Yep. That's what you should do. Mm-hmm. He did that, and Draymond was like, "Nah, we built from a different cloth, and we did this and then he did an interview where he was like, you know what? Nobody's really gonna fight because I don't want to get fined. He doesn't really get fined, but he can see me in the street. Mm-hmm. Now he done seen you in the street, and the word is, you done put that tail between your legs. See what I'm saying? So thought he was a punk. He gonna always be a punk. That's just my viewpoint of it.
Eugene, what you think, man?
My opinion is I don't think actually Draymond even would apologize to the guy. That's just my personal opinion. That's not the type of person that he appears to be on the court. Obviously, I don't know what he's like off the court, but I can only go by what I see. Right. That's number one. And then two, it's always he say, she say. So unless you're there, how are you going to know to be able to speculate what
apparently no cameras or phones were allowed into the club that night.
I don't buy it. I'm not rolling.
You don't buy it? No. But we all do know this, though. When you get that many people around, we don't know how accurate, you know what I mean?
Right,
what's coming out is. Right. But what is accurate is that Tristan tried to put them paws on him. And it wasn't a whole lot of retaliation.
I'm not rolling.
That's what it is.
So here's my issue with that whole situation. Draymond knows who he can and cannot test.
That's everybody.
Like you said, that's everybody. Like you said, he didn't want to approach LeBron James. LeBron, I'm gonna go back to what Greg Anthony said. He's like that dude at the park. Right. That's real quiet and real to himself, but don't nobody really want to mess with him, right? Because come on, he's a physical specimen, right? Even if he can't fight, he can do something physically to hurt you.
Right. And he ain't from the wealthiest of neighborhoods.
Right. So he tries who he can try. He tried that stuff with LeBron because he knows off the court they have a relationship. They're business partners. They're in the same production company together. Mm-hmm. So they have stuff off the court that kind of links them together. So he knows he can, just like me and my brother on the court fighting each other. We know it. We get home later. He didn't really want to go there. He didn't really want to go there. That's my thing is with fake tough guys. Now I'm an ex-ball player. My teammates in college know who I was, right? I'll fight in a minute. I mean, I'm not saying it was a good trait, but that was who I was in college, right? And so, and if I see one of the guys at the club from, UTSA, I wouldn't say Meyer, from UTSA or something, they knew it was game time. If you want to fight, we can fight. I'm not saying everybody has to be like that, but be who you are. Right. And don't be who you're not. That's my whole thing with Dre. Right. You're not a tough guy, and I'm not even saying I'm not a tough guy. I don't portray to be a tough guy, but I'm a fighter I can fight, right? But if you're Dre, don't be a tough guy if you're really not a tough guy, because sooner or later somebody's gonna call you bluff. Yep. And apparently, from what we're getting, his bluff was called, and hey, X marks the spot.
and that's my thing. Just be real. Yeah. Like you said, most tough guys that we know ain't going around jumping in everybody's face. Right. Even though we know they may have some hands. You know what I mean? Right. And that's what Draymond is to me. He just seems like he wants to be looked at as a tough guy. Right. When the people that really know him know he's not probably really that tough.
Exactly. So, okay, we talked about Draymond. Let's move forward. Yep. NFL QBs. I stole this topic from the Herd, right? Because they were talking about NFL QBs having to have a chip on their shoulders to be successful. What do y'all think about this? I'm not a big football guy. I know a little bit about the game, so I'm gonna let you. You know, I know you're a big football guy. You play college football. I want your insight on this.
Okay. I don't care how big chip you have.
Right.
If you can't make all the throws on the football field, that chip ain't gonna matter. Right? If you can't read defenses, that chip ain't gonna matter. So I really don't think a chip matter. I think it's good to have because it's more like saying someone has a lot of drive. You know what I mean? But just saying somebody made it or couldn't make it because they have a chip, you know what I mean? That's just a misnomer. Like either you have the skills to play in the league, whether it's the NBA or the NFL or baseball, or you don't. You know what I mean? If you're borderline and you have a chip or you're really motivated, you may can work yourself into be a player. I do believe that. But I do not believe that you have to have a chip to be a successful NFL quarterback.
I'll interject and say this. I think you have to have a chip on your shoulder to be any successful athlete. To be any successful businessman. I think it's a common trait that goes along with a certain type of success. And not only a certain type of success, but a certain type of attitude that surrounds that success. So if you look at guys like your Kobe Bryants, and guys like your Donald Trumps, and guys like your, Tom Brady's, if you look at these kind of guys, they not only have a chip, but they have a point to prove to everyone, right? So that's sort of their chip that's on their shoulder. I have to prove that I'm worthy enough. I have to prove and take my respect because people aren't going to give it to me because I haven't been really naturally given that respect my whole life. Now I can kind of relate being a chubby kid growing up playing basketball, people not respecting me. So now quite naturally, I got this chip on my shoulder. You tell me I can't play college basketball, I'm going to play. Tell me I can't play pro, I'm going to play just because you told me I couldn't. And that chip is going to guide and move me throughout my sport. And so everything I do is going to be a reaction off what I'm feeling, right?
That's true, but I kind of agree, but then I don't because I say this. But once you get in the game, whether it's NBA or NFL, you're not thinking about trying to prove somebody wrong. No. You might be in working out. You might be in trying to grow as an athlete. But when we get in between them lines, it's not a chip that's going to make me successful. It's the actual knowledge of the game and the application of the knowledge that I have in the game and my skills. You know what I mean?
It goes through your training. You've been training your whole life for that moment. So
because most everybody's going to have a chip because everybody's going to play. Once you get to college, it's a person behind you that's probably just as good. So you know what I mean? So I don't really think I think everybody has a chip to a certain.
But my point to that whole chip thing is that I think that's what girds your motivation and your work ethic, right? I'm gonna work 5 hours more today than the next man because I know he's not doing it. And that's how I'm going to be better than him, right? So I think that's what, like Tom Brady, for instance, I'm a Tom Brady guy. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm not necessarily a Pats fan, but I'm a Tom Brady fan because of his mentality and the way he goes about the game. Guys like him, I'm their fans because of the way they go about the game, right? He's going to put the extra time in. He's going to have a mentality that I'm not satisfied until I'm sitting there standing over your corpse and there's blood dripping from my mouth, right? That's when I'm satisfied. And that's what I can identify with. And that's why I really respect those guys. So I think, quite naturally, you do have to have that chip on your shoulder because you always have to go out with, with the mentality that there's something to prove. Right. To me, that kind of keeps you honest.
But I do think the guys that maybe wasn't as gifted early on developed that more than guys that work.
So we're talking chip or are we talking competitive nature?
I think it's kind of gone the same. Yeah, right.
So that's how I see it. It's competitive nature, and then for a quarterback, I think that's the most important position on the field. Probably you got to have the IQ.
Right.
So I think it's that as well as competitive nature that combines it all together. So I think that's what quarterbacks should have. They don't really need a chip.
And then it goes on that line: hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. You know what I mean? So.
All right, so we're gonna move on. NCAA college athletes being paid.
100%, absolutely.
You deal with a lot of college athletes that you train and everything.
I do.
So
I think they should get paid. Reason being is because the NCAA is, to me, I look at it as a profitable business because they're bringing in lots and lots of money promoting these college athletes.
I got the figures on it. It was I think $7.8 billion last year.
Is that the TV deal with the NCAA? Okay, so they're not getting a percentage of that, but they're working hard every day. They're going to class. They're traveling. And then, to me, I think they're getting pimped.
Right.
If that's the word I can use.
Yeah,
That's a strong word, my man.
but
Gene said
Oh,
they
you
get
right
pimped.
on it.
That's what it
They
is.
get
So
pimped,
a 100%, they should get some.
I just thought of
some
Goldie,
percent.
walking through the tunnel, like, hey man, let me say something, man.
Student athlete all bottom.
So you can't knock them for like the family taking $100,000 wire from an agent or from a shoe deal. You can't knock them for that because most of these guys are coming from these environments that they're playing basketball to make a way.
But what do you say about people saying, well, they are getting paid because
It's for tuition.
because they're getting a free scholarship.
I don't agree with that.
So engineer majors are getting a free scholarship.
Right.
People on academic scholarships are getting a free ride.
Right.
But here's the deal. If you have an academic scholarship, you can
lots
still
of
get
work.
hired
Yep.
by Slumberjay,
Yep.
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
And you can still work on the
Right.
side.
Right.
If you're an athlete in
You can't
college,
work.
you can't go work with an NBA
Absolutely.
organization. So, I mean, there you see a big time discrepancy where you see it's not fair.
Yeah.
Right? So,
They can't even get a part-time job.
Can you-
I
So
get it.
no.
So here's my deal. Of course, you have to draw the line between professional and collegiate athletics.
Right.
There has to be a line drawn, in my opinion. The line drawn is a stipend,
They get that. But it's not.
but it's not. Come on, I've got a
I
stipend. You
understand.
played in New
I
Mexico.
understand.
You got a stipend.
Yeah.
We've had stipends in
Right,
college.
right.
It's not the same.
And we were still eating Roman
Right.
noodles.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And running out of Roman noodles.
Yeah.
And we had 33 cents to go to,
Yeah.
Fiesta and get some more, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I had 33 cents because I had my old man sending me money, But
Right.
if it wasn't for that, I was hungry,
Right.
So give a little more on the stipend. Having to where student athletes aren't seeing their jersey being sold in the school store with their numbers on it.
Right.
And they're not seeing anything from it.
Right. And then the coach making $10 million.
Exactly.
Like, how are you going to justify paying the coach $10 million, but all of the players get zero?
Exactly. And so,
So I think LeVar Ball had a great idea. It's just the way he's going about promoting
this
with
league,
the
though,
JPA.
I mean, this league, though, man.
That's just a good idea. It's just
It
him.
was.
Yeah,
It's just the
it's a
execution.
great
The
idea, but
execution was horrible.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at guys who ain't make their high school team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm searching these guys' backgrounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious?
It's a great idea.
It's a
Just not
wonderful
executed.
idea. And he has a great platform.
Yeah.
Televised.
Yep.
Everything.
Everything's great about it.
Yeah. But
That's what it needs to be more than if they don't want to go. NCAA doesn't want to pay, then they need to put more into that. Maybe not his league per se,
Right.
but set up something similar to that because
Right.
you do have the funds to do that and the resources to do that.
I agree.
That's what would be my take on that.
I agree with that. Okay.
And then too, I was just gonna say real quick, and let's be honest, a degree is not quite worth what it used to be as well.
Average
what I
job
mean?
out of college is what making 30,000
30,
a year.
25. Yeah, I know people getting welding certificates, making triple what
Exactly.
educators are making.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just,
I got a bachelor's in psychology, and that's pretty much worthless.
Right.
You're not doing that right now.
I'm not doing that right now. That's where I'm in law school right now.
Right.
You know, thank God, but
Yeah.
it's my lifelong dream to
So
go
I
to
just
law
say that
school.
to say, please stop saying that they're getting paid by getting an education.
Oh no, that's not.
No,
good.
it's not the same. Plus, the amount of work you putting in
Man,
is below
to
minimum
get up
wage.
at 5, I remember getting up at 5 a.m., running the track, running to go on the football field. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
And it starts, like you said, at
Yeah,
5 a.m.
5
People
a.m.
don't get that.
Yeah.
So, all right, come on, moving forward. Probably the most controversial topic, other than the next one we're going to talk about, Dak Prescott. I had an argument with this guy
Right.
online for about a good 2 days.
Yeah.
Right? About the same topic. He's like, man, save it for the show. I'm like, no, I ain't saving this for the show.
You against
No,
it or
get
for it?
Huh?
You for it or against it?
I'm for the kneeling.
Okay.
But
He said they cool.
Okay, yeah, I think it's coonery. But hold on, let me be perfectly clear what I
Yeah.
mean by that.
Please.
If you
Because
protest,
your homeboy, what's his name? Lamont? I hope Lamont watching.
yeah, my dog.
Oh, I hope
Yeah, he
Lamont
watching
watching.
Lamont, my
man.
dog.
Lamont,
But let
Lamont,
me-
I'm gonna bust your head to the white meat. I see you, man. Hold on.
But let me explain why I say coonery, because this is the thing about protest in general.
Okay.
If you decide to protest, okay, for a good cause, which he was talking about, inequality, injustices in America,
Right.
which us being 3 black men know that it exists. We've
Right.
seen it, been a part of it,
Yep.
seen it, know everything, right?
Right.
If you decide to protest, just because you're an African American protesting and I'm an African American, I do not have to protest, right?
That's
I
cool.
do. I don't. If
You have
I
a choice.
disagree, I have a choice.
Yep.
But my problem was with Dak is when he said, "This is not the time nor the place."
don't
So
agree
when
with
you say that, you make a reference to that he was doing something wrong.
Right.
And to me, that's cooning at that point, because this is my thing. If you know the history of this country, and you know slavery, and you know Jim Crow, and you know lynching, and you know all of these things, there's never a right time to protest.
That's true.
There's never a right time to protest.
There is a right time to protest.
No.
Our ancestors found the right time to protest.
You
No,
don't agree.
they died.
No,
They died. If it was the right time to
They paid
protest,
the ultimate sacrifice
They
for
did.
us.
Yeah.
So
So
we can
protesting-
easily choose to protest when we want to protest. There is a right time to protest.
When?
Here's the deal.
who makes that? Who decides that? Because we don't.
But here's the deal.
So
Okay,
if
let
we
me ask
don't,
something.
then you
But let me
side
ask
with
you
the
something.
person that.
But let me ask you something. Let me ask both of y'all something.
Yeah.
If y'all own the Fortune 500 company,
Right.
and you're trying to maintain a certain type of image,
Right.
not that you're for or against the cause. You're neutral. You don't care either way. Or maybe you're for the cause. But you're trying to maintain a certain kind of image where you own business, right? For your livelihood.
Right.
Would you want your employees voicing their personal opinions about something that doesn't even matter to what you're doing for your job?
It depends.
Because his kneeling had nothing to do with football.
Exactly. Which is my
That was
point.
a protest against the legal injustices.
Exactly.
of our
Exactly.
Police department,
So why are
which
we
are state-run
still
organizations.
right? So why are we still talking about the anthem
Yeah.
when it really didn't
It's not
have
about
nothing to do with the anthem? But I'm gonna tell you why. Because there are certain people
Yeah.
that don't look like us want you to know
Yeah.
and think it's about the anthem.
It's not
because right.
But no, we know it's not about that. That's not what I'm talking about.
But we
I
don't.
know it's
We
not
all
about
don't.
that.
We do,
It's
but
about
we all
the
don't.
principle. It's about the racial injustice. I
Right.
get that. I
Right.
get
Yeah.
the cause.
Right.
Nothing against
Right.
the cause.
Right.
But my thing is, I can't walk into my job
Yeah.
and be like, man, I'm promoting racial injustice.
Yes,
everybody
you can
spend
do it.
15 minutes
No,
at
you
lunch
can do it. You can
protesting
do
outside.
it. You can do it.
So you don't like the
can
time.
do it.
I don't like the time.
So
but,
let me ask you a question. What do you think about in 1968?
but here's
when
the deal.
that happened?
When
Right.
that happened, what do you see all
That's
those
big
people
time.
doing?
No, and
Hold
that's-
on, but
but
you see
that's
those
iconic.
things. But hold
But
on.
that's- and that's
Hold on.
big.
Yeah, that's
Here's
big.
the deal. Most of the times,
In the Olympics.
most of the
Okay.
time when they did that, it was a group of them coming together, and they were strictly boycotting the whole thing. So here's the deal:
They
If you
didn't
wanna get
boycott.
every-
No, they didn't. Exactly.
Okay, boycotted the buses.
Exactly.
But if- okay, so here's the deal. If you
if
wanna
somebody
get-
would have came out and said that is not the right time
Yeah,
and the
that's
place,
not
But that's
point.
different.
No,
If
it's
you wanna-
not.
if you want-
No,
it
it's
is.
not. It's a
If you want to get
protest.
everybody
That's the
together,
Olympics.
if you want to get everybody together
Right.
and say collectively, we're not doing this anymore. We're
Yeah.
taking a stand. That's
Session.
a real protest.
okay, Session.
I'm not rolling.
If it's one person
Yeah.
or a million,
Yeah.
Dude.
it can be a protest.
So here's the deal.
If it's one person. So hold on, wait. So my point is this: I may not even agree to do what you did as the protest, but once I speak and say you're wrong for doing it when you're doing something to better a cause, then I'm cool and then
But
I'm
Dak
wrong.
Prescott, it's his right to be or not
It
to be a
is.
part of that.
It is.
It's his
It
right
is.
to say
It
whether or
is.
not he believes it's wrong or not. He is half white.
Look, it's his right to.
Are we forgetting that?
Look,
What
it's
if
not
he
his
doesn't-
right to
no.
tell him he did
But-
something
But
wrong.
what if he thinks he
I don't
did
get it.
something
I
wrong?
don't
By
get
his
the
own
right to
personal
tell you.
ideology.
You can go out and do whatever you want to.
Exactly.
I don't have to.
But it's
I don't
his
get the
own-
right to tell you how to
But
feel
it's
about
his
nothing.
own moral compass. If he thinks it's wrong, he can very well say
For
it. It's
him.
his right.
For him.
It's his right
For
as
him.
an American
For
citizen
him.
to voice
For
and
him,
side
Session.
with any
For
position
him,
he
you
wants to
ask, that
side
don't
with.
make him no
Bottom
coon.
line.
That don't make him
That
no
doesn't make
coon.
him a coon. That's my
exactly.
point.
No.
How's he a
But
coon
what
for
makes him
voicing his beliefs?
because he told him that he was wrong for voicing his
How did he
beliefs.
say he was wrong for voicing?
He said
I
this
know
it's
he-
not
wasn't
the right time.
Exactly.
That's not telling him it's wrong.
Yes, it is.
Kind of, sort of, it is. It is.
If him saying this is wrong, that's saying it's wrong.
That's what he
said.
said.
That's
Right.
exactly
That's
what he
basically
said.
what he
That's
said.
exactly what he
That's
said. Yes,
That's
he did.
basically
He
what he
said.
said. It's not
He
the right
said,
time.
It's not the right time or the place. So
Because
that
in his
means
strong
belief, he
opinion.
thought that's not the right time
That's
and the
a
place.
strong opinion.
Now, after
Exactly.
the game, if he
Strong
wants
opinion.
to hold a press conference,
Yeah.
and if he wants to get a bunch of people in Times Square or something to sit around and listen to him,
But
talk
that
about
wouldn't have been
racial justice,
effective.
No.
That wouldn't have been
why wouldn't
nowhere
it be
near.
effective?
It wouldn't have been
He's
nowhere
the
near as
same
effective.
athlete he was
It's
when he
the
stepped on
word
the
that
court
he
when he
chose.
stepped off.
He said it's not the right time.
Me
On the
and
field.
you,
Yeah.
we are right here now having this conversation over a year and a half later. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Because it's a hot topic.
No.
We were still talking about it. That's why.
Because he
If
didn't
it
hold
wasn't,
a
we
damn
wouldn't-
press
we wouldn't-
conference.
we
That's
wouldn't-
why we're talking
Exactly.
about
He
it.
should have held a
Because
press
he-
conference.
No, it wouldn't
The
because
word
it wouldn't have
that
been
he chose.
effective.
It's
It
not
wouldn't
the
have been
right
effective.
time.
He cooning.
Yeah, he
He
chose
cooning.
the word.
He buffoon. He's shucking and jiving.
He
He's
forgot about all
Samboing.
1960s,
He's Samboing.
the
He did.
1800s.
He's a man with his own
It's all good.
opinion,
It's like
and,
telling-
he's free to voice it if he wants.
Just
That's the
imagine
bottom line.
imagine if the slaves would have knocked on the door. Now, so what time you think we should
But
protest
here's
this
the deal.
morning? What the hell would have
Hold on, Here's the
happened?
deal. Our ancestors had more. Our ancestors had way more courage than we can believe, man.
They did.
Here's the deal.
I believe that.
You don't even know what's around you, and you're still taking a stand.
Possession. My point is, they wasn't asking nobody for the right time and place.
Their entire life was the wrong
Nat
time
Turner
and
wasn't
place.
asking nobody.
But Nat
what
Turner's
time.
entire life was the wrong time and place.
I think he used the wrong words.
You see
man.
my point?
But
His
No,
entire
I don't
life-
see your point.
But
His
he sold-
entire life he was owned by somebody else. It's always going to be the wrong time
No,
and place.
I don't
No,
agree.
So then
I'm
it
not
was
rolling.
different.
Session. Come on
Then
now.
it was different.
Session.
I'm not
Come on,
rolling.
Then it was
Session.
different.
I'm not rolling.
Now Colin Kaepernick is a millionaire. You mean to tell me if he
He was
has
a
a press
millionaire
conference,
prior.
Yeah,
if
he
he
was.
comes, if
He was a millionaire
hold on.
prior. The
He was
dude
prior,
did
he
something
was.
heroic.
But you mean to tell me
Whether
if
I
he had
agree or
a
not, the
press
dude
conference,
did something heroic,
if he had
man.
a press conference, if he would have done this like in front of like the entire city of San Francisco,
Right.
it would have way more of an effect.
No,
than
it
would
wouldn't
now.
even got no
Yes,
coverage.
it would.
That's true.
It wouldn't
Yes,
even
it
got
would.
no coverage
It would have
outside.
got. We
No,
don't
it
know that
wouldn't.
because we
No.
know that because it didn't happen. Bingo.
Well, it happened.
Session.
Cat got his tongue.
Dak Prescott,
Yeah.
keep cooning.
Keep cooling.
Wow.
Keep cooning.
All right, so I'm on number 2-1 on this.
Yep.
Anyway, Lamont, I hope you watching. Urban Meyer. I have a big issue with this Urban Meyer controversy. I don't know if you've been seeing what's going on.
I looked at it briefly.
All I'm thinking is, if I hire somebody, if
Right.
somebody's my employee,
Right.
which I've had employees before work under me, if they have something going on in their personal life, not condoning anything against, abusing women or domestic violence, I don't condone that one bit. Never put my hand on a woman. Never saw my parents do it. I just don't condone it.
Right.
But I'm just talking about the entire situation. If I am somebody's boss and I find out something's going on in their home, and I also find out the police has been called several times, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to fire the guy if there's been no charges filed? Am I supposed to, I'm going to report it, I'm going to talk to him, but what else can I do as his boss?
Well, I think there was a clause. You're not supposed to fire him.
Right.
If you
You're
hear
supposed to
something
report
special.
it.
Right.
But
I
he
think there's
did.
something in there. Well, they didn't say he did.
But here's the deal. One
They
thing,
said he didn't, and that was the problem.
Right.
That he knew he had this guy. You know what I mean?
So he was
for him
off
still.
company time.
Right.
right, he said he reported it.
Right.
And two, he's saying there was something like, I know you mentioned a clause in the contract.
Right.
He said he reported it. And he's also saying that his wife didn't notify him. Now, I think that's the kind of missing link to this whole thing.
Yeah, he
if
lied
the
about
wife
that.
knew,
No, he lied about that.
and how can they tell?
Well, he lied about that.
How can they tell?
Right. He lied about that.
How
You
can they
got to
tell?
look at the contract, because the big thing that a lot of these contracts don't say, and a lot of these guys don't recognize, because I deal with a lot of them, is what can and I do on company time.
True.
So that's what we got to
But
figure
I doubt
out.
if he beat his wife on company time, unless he did it on the football field in the
Right.
locker room. But if they're at home,
But that's the thing with
Yeah.
sports, especially in
That's a tough
but this is the
situation.
thing, and y'all
Yeah.
know this. Y'all know this too, dealing with sports.
Right.
Once you get to be a professional athlete,
You're in
you
the
are
limelight.
just like Division I football,
Yep.
or just like Division I sports. Like, when am I not a Division I athlete?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Because I'm on scholarship.
But
So-
the contract
so
has to stipulate that.
Right.
It has to, and I don't think it does. I don't think it does in any sport.
No, it doesn't.
here's what I think, because even knowing a little bit I know about contract law,
Right.
I just took contracts too. If, Professor Carlson, if you're watching, I don't want to give you my test number, but I hope you graded me well.
Right.
I need to pass that class. But seriously, the thing about contract law
Yep.
is that sometimes it doesn't matter what the contract actually says.
Yeah.
Because we can look to evidence surrounding the contract, if admitted by the judge.
Yeah.
We can look at evidence prior to the contract to see if what's actually in the contract means what it meant.
That's similar to what went through with Donald Sterling in the NBA.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What he did was not on company time, but he still got penalized for
But
it.
the Donald Sterling thing, I don't think Donald got a fair shake in that.
I don't think
Here's
so
the deal, man. Come here, let me listen.
Man,
to
come
something.
on.
And it's
Here we
kinda
go with
comedic.
that coding again.
It's kind of comedic. Donald Sterling was
He
just
wasn't
jealous.
on company
She
time.
bring if you're all right,
That's
dude,
key.
and you see your side piece or
Yeah.
your girlfriend bringing young black studs to the game, you gonna say the same thing. Why you
In
with
his
the black
home.
dudes?
He was in his
Come on,
home.
man.
He wasn't
I mean,
at the
Come
arena.
on, think of all the
He was at
stereotypes.
home.
He got what he should have got.
Think of all the stereotypes. You think she's showing up with these big old black studs, and And I'm down on Sterling.
I ain't mad.
That means that at home I can't do what I want to do. So that's the tough part about it. I'm not saying beat no woman either, but I'm just saying you're at home.
Right.
There has to be some stipulation in the contract stating what you can and can't.
I don't know with the Urban situation, man. I think it'll be a very difficult time trying to fire him.
Yep.
I think the investigation has lasted long enough to where if they did want to fire him, they had enough information to where they can make their call. But it's a tricky situation, man, because you're facing a lawsuit if you fire him. Then if you fire him without grounds to fire him, you're paying him $21 million. Right, he's extended through the 2021 season.
He's good either
That's why
way.
he's not sure. That's why
he's extended from 2021 or 22. It could be anywhere from $21 to $28 million you got to pay out. Of course, they'll probably settle at 18.
Who's ever watching, please read the contract.
Read the contract.
Or like y'all say, keep your illegalness inside your own home.
Your illegalness. So, okay, last thing we're going to hit on is NBA. 8 picks from East and West.
Top 8?
Top 8.
The West is going to be pretty difficult, but number 1, we already know who it is. The Warriors number 1. I'd say number 2 would be.
He say LA because
No, I didn't say that. Don't speak for me. Don't speak for me. Don't speak for me. I can articulate very well. Don't speak for me.
I'm going Utah number 2.
Utah?
I'm gonna slip Utah in.
Surprise?
I'm gonna slip Utah in. I think the
Not
Rockets.
Houston?
No, they got worse. They didn't get better.
They did get worse with Carmelo.
They lost Ariza and Baumuta, even though he didn't play in the playoffs, but they still need that defensive identity.
Hey, but even though they got worse, they won 65 games.
So you're going to be worse than that the next year.
Right. So last year, Golden State won 58 games.
Right.
So even if they get worse, let's say that their
Warriors
6
got
games
better.
worse. No, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. But I'm just saying, I'm just speaking wise, as far as better and worse.
Yeah. Well, see, the reason why I said they're going to get worse is because these teams got better. Jazz got better.
I don't know if they got better than the people
Experience.
that was. Okay, you're right.
Thunder
got
another year in the mesh.
How they get a lot of better? They didn't get a lot better.
Another year in the mesh.
Dennis,
another year.
Okay, hold on, wait. Yeah. This is what I told him about Dennis Schroeder.
Right.
How much better is Dennis Schroeder than Jackson?
I mean, Jackson was probably.
No. Can you?
Dennis Schroeder's way better than Jackson.
No, he
way better.
Dennis Schroeder was coming off the bench for a long time. Reggie was a starter.
Reggie.
And he knew he was a starter.
And way better.
Yes, I seen him in
I
Atlanta.
Way better.
Yes,
They like even.
That's my point. I don't know how they got way better.
Schroeder has an edge on Jackson.
I'm gonna go with Warriors, Jazz, Thunder.
Where you gonna put LA? That's what I want to
that's all he really want to
know.
know. Just tell the truth. You just want to know what.
They're gonna win about 48 games. They're gonna be a 4 or 5 seed.
I like
about 48 games.
You all right with
They're gonna get about 48
So
games.
let me tell you what I got then, sis. So then what I got for the Western. I got the Warriors, I got Houston, Thunder, then I got them Lakers, then I got Spurs, Utah, Timberwolves, and Nuggets.
We forgetting about Portland.
Yeah. And the way I kind of did
as much as I love the Spurs, I'm gonna have to put them down a little further.
To where?
I'm gonna have to put them like around 6.
Okay. So last year the 6th seed was the Pelicans and they won 48.
Yeah.
Last year the Spurs won 47. So I look at it like this.
They got better. Spurs
Exactly.
got better.
Because they added
didn't
a
have
all-star
Kawhi.
and they didn't have Kawhi. So they can win 50 games.
They also lost Green.
I don't think he that much of a
Regular season, he's a difference maker. Playoffs, he's not.
He's not the 2014 Green.
He's
The
not the
Spurs
2014.
will win 50 games this year.
They got better.
As much as I love the Spurs, that's my squad. Only NBA squad gave me a shot. As much as I love the Spurs, I don't see him getting past the 6th seed.
They're gonna win 50 games.
They
That's
win
it.
50 games.
It depends
This
on how
ain't
many
no-
other games other teams win.
These a really
These
really good team in the NBA, and you know this should know this better than me. It's gonna win 60 plus. A
Yeah,
really
good team nowadays in the West is going to win 50 plus. A really good team.
Who was really
A
good?
really good team in the
Okay,
East
hold
is
on.
going to win
Wait.
40 plus.
In the West
25
last year,
plus.
the only 2 teams that won 50 plus games was the Warriors. 2 teams was the Rockets and the Warriors.
Right.
Because everybody's beating up on everybody.
They got to get better.
Okay, but in the East, the same
Here's the deal.
thing.
Everybody's gotten
It's the
better.
same thing.
Toronto got
Everybody's,
59
but here,
last year.
everybody's gotten better in the West as well.
Right.
Right.
I know that.
So that doesn't do much for San Antonio. Everybody else has gotten. You said they've gotten better, but
Spurs
everybody
got
else has
better
gotten better
because they didn't have Kawhi, so they added the Rosen.
The Spurs was 7th seed last
They
year.
didn't have
here's the
Kawhi.
deal.
Remember, they didn't have
Yeah,
Kawhi
they didn't
at
have
all.
at all.
So here's the deal.
So you add an all-star to that already
Exactly.
team.
I'm not
That
sold
already
on-
won
I'm not
47,
sold
so
on
they
that.
should win 50 50 between 50
around
games.
good players.
But I'm not sold on DeRozan.
He'll be better around Aldridge.
I don't think
system.
I think he is a little overhyped, but he is a good NBA player.
In that system,
No,
he will be better.
He's not Kawhi.
Plus, like I
But
said,
he's definitely
you
worth
lost-
5 wins.
But my
He
point
will be
is,
better in that
you
system.
lost Green as well.
Right.
So you got to make up for
He's
both of them.
replaceable.
He is replaceable. But
Green is
I mean,
replaceable.
come on. This is a shooter's league. You need a guy like Green.
He's replaceable. But DeRozan will get better in that system.
Right. East,
For sure.
what you got?
East
Of course,
is up in
Philly
there.
won.
I say Boston.
I'm going with Philly for one.
I got Boston number 1.
Come
Come on, Seth.
Boston.
I'm going with Philly for one.
Boston got better.
Boston
I'm not-
won
so-
50, Boston won
Okay,
55 games
So if
last
Kyrie's
year.
there, Boston won.
Yeah.
If Kyrie and Gordon is there.
Yeah.
60 games.
That's what we.
Yeah,
In the
okay.
East.
Even
Right.
if you take West up, even if
Yeah.
you take one of them and add it to a team
But
that won
those studs
55
in
wins.
Philadelphia,
Boston got better.
Yes,
Those
Boston
studs
is
in
better.
I don't think Philly got better.
No.
they got a good combination of vets.
Sessions.
You know, and
They didn't
James
get
Right,
better.
they do, but they didn't get better. They
They
didn't
don't
add.
They got a year of experience, but they didn't get better.
Okay.
The difference.
76ers
I'm
lost
willing
to
to bet money
Boston
with y'all
without them.
I'm willing to bet money with
I
you.
got Boston.
I got Boston.
Injury. This is all injuries. Everybody's healthy.
Everybody's healthy.
Right.
Right.
I got Boston number
Philly.
1. I
Everybody's
got
healthy.
Philly number
Yep.
2. I got the Raptors number 3.
Yep.
I got Bucks number
That's
4.
tough. That's tough.
I would maybe
That's
put the
tough.
Bucks before Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think Kawhi is going to play this year.
Now you do. They from what you're hearing too
Yeah.
with them.
Here's the deal.
down-
Kawhi, he saw it happen to IT. I mentioned that last
Yeah,
week.
he
Right,
did.
He's not trying to miss out on his Supermax
money,
contract.
right.
I understand.
But
He
he's
will
out
sit
of
out
that.
the whole
He can't get
year.
it.
Right.
He can no longer
But he-
get it.
but
He
he
can get
can't
it from
sit out.
Toronto.
But he can't
He
sit
can't
out
get from anybody
then
else.
Then he forfeits that money.
He does for. He has to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
the
has
point. Well, come on, he don't get on the court and go like, I know Kawhi's gonna go like 50%. His 50% is at least gonna be
He
there to
could
green.
get. I do agree. He probably could get out there maybe 20 games.
Yeah.
And then now have
have another
aggravation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Look,
saying?
Kawhi ain't messing up his money.
And then to get traded to LA. The
Well,
thing
he's a
that
free agent.
the
so-
thing that's
Yeah.
good though, if you're a LA fan,
Yeah.
is that now you fixing to really get him and not have to give up nothing.
I'm not so sure they're gonna get him. Well, let's see how the year plays out.
Okay.
I don't think he wants. I don't think he cares about playing with the
Okay, well let's say this.
Yeah.
Let's just say this for the sake of argument.
Right.
I don't think
I'm
they
gonna pull a
really.
Chris Broussard. I got an inside source that tells me I don't think he
Okay.
really cares about playing with LeBron James.
That-
I
that's
can
fine.
see why. I can
And now I really do got an inside source.
And I
Right.
understand, but he's not the only free agent. And I'm telling you from what I've seen and what I think,
Right.
you add a Butler, you add a Lillard, Damon.
A Butler
or
to
you
the
add-
Lakers.
Yeah.
He can't shoot.
No, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you add another
Damian
all-star.
Lillard.
Yeah.
Which
To the
here's
Lakers.
No,
what-
if you know Damian Lillard can't.
Is he gonna be a free agent?
no, he can't shoot.
Damian Lillard?
No.
If he gets hot, he's streaky.
He's streaky.
He is
streaky.
streaky. Yeah,
He's a
would-
penetrator.
You're trying to beat the Warriors 4 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you have to get a combination of things: shooters, defenders, and big,
Big time
guys.
defender.
Well, they got
And quick,
defenders now.
mobile
They got
bigs.
long defenders, athletic defenders now. They
Yeah,
do.
but none of those
There they
guys
go.
can shoot. You got Kevin, Clay, Steph, and then you added the guy from Utah, Dropus.
Right, yeah.
He can shoot. He shoots 40 from 3. You're trying to beat them 4 times in 2 weeks.
The Golden
it's gonna
State
be tough.
Warriors.
It's gonna be
gonna
tough.
be
Yeah, it's gonna be
Hey,
tough.
come on. They're gonna win the title this year.
It's gonna be tough.
I don't know.
And then they added DeMarcus Cousins.
Which I don't really think that was the smartest move.
It is the
because
smartest
it changes.
both
Because
ways.
it changes. It
No.
totally
I
changes
said
the
this
way you
last
run
week.
your
It's the
offense.
smartest move both
He
ways.
becomes
For
a
him
D
and for
West
them.
for the second unit and the start of the second quarter,
No, he
right?
doesn't. He doesn't
I'm-
become a D
But he
West.
He's not gonna
scored.
play
First
more
of
than
all-
15 minutes a game. He doesn't have to.
Okay, first of all, we got to see
He can
him
get
come
well.
back
That's
from
my
that.
point.
Right.
He can get well.
No, he will be
Because I don't think
even
people
if
that
he's
don't know the
80%.
game, people that don't know
Yeah, I
the game
know.
don't know how
It's a tough
serious that
injury.
injury
Tough
is,
injury.
especially for
Tough injury. No doubt about
Yeah,
it.
so yeah, we almost out of time. I want to bring my man Sauce Eddie up here. Eddie, where you at, man? Come here, man. Bring my man Sauce Eddie up here. About to get ready to mix it on the ones and twos. Eddie, say hi to the camera there, everybody.
What's up, man?
Nice to meet
How you doing?
Eddie.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Hey, let me tell you something. When I first saw this guy dance, like back in 1927, I'm joking. When I first saw this guy dance, man, it was like back in 2008, man. I thought I was Latino. Just by watching him. That's the effect he had. This is one of the pioneers in the Houston salsa game, man. Come out to the Owls Eatery, enjoy the music, have a good time. You know, we're gonna see you next week. We're gonna get
All right, brother. We'll see you.
Good combo. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get more controversial next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Session Sports Minute. Eugene McIntyre,
Yes, sir.
Mickey Murray.
We'll
We're
see you
gonna
next time.
see you next time. Stay cooling.
Stay cooning. He was cooning. I can't believe you, Mark. You forgot about 1968 when the brother stood on the podium and put his fist up. That wasn't the right time.